Hello and welcome to session 4 of our Twilight 2000 campaign, The Long Way Home. I'm Andy, I'm the GM. I'll give a little synopsis in a sec of what happened in the last session, but first of all, let my players introduce themselves. Starting with Nick.
Hi, I'm Nick. I play Kowalski, our current leader of the party and also our demolitions expert.
Chris.
Chris, I'm playing Leandro Jones, who is a young mechanic from the Divisional Maintenance and Repair Depot.
Carl, unfortunately, isn't here. He's ill, and Charlie is unfortunately still occupied with work commitments, so neither of them are here. But then, also moving to Gregg.
I'm Gregg. I play Jimmy Stockton, a young Cavalry Scout.
And then lastly, Mike.
Yep, Mike, I play Jimmy Mac. He's a sniper scout.
Okay. Right. Okay, so just to remind you what was happening in the last session. There was a bit of an engagement around what turns out to be a bit of a roadblock. I'm going to shift you across that map so you can look around it again. It's there. Oh, no, I need to shift you across, not just myself. Okay, so there was a little. The tokens are still on their way. You've got to, but don't worry about that. There was a little small number of about 16. You reckon enemy soldiers, some sort of foraging party with a few vehicles gathering up a lot of wood, which they've mostly abandoned. Actually, from talking to your prisoners, not your prisoners, talking to their prisoners and the Poles that you've rescued, who I'll go through exactly who those are in a sec. What they'd actually done is they'd set up at this junction here. In fact, let me just make this other fighting position visible. They had set up a blockade, a roadblock with a couple of vehicles here, and had been certainly with one vehicle which is here, they had shot it to pieces, causing it to crash, and had that's where the couple of the woman and the boy who you first met came from. They were travelling that with two men, one of whom's body is lying dead about here, and the other is one of the two Poles that you rescued from within the camp. They were, as far as you can gather, from talking to one of the two prisoners who's long term, they were, as well as gathering supplies, they were periodically trying to stop any traffic or any civilians they encountered, basically to try and improve their lot by a bit of occasional looting and gathering of a taxing of people for various supplies and so on. They had one machine gun, which was an old RPD, sort of Russian Soviet World War II era light machine gun, and they were all armed with SKS rifles. The four people you've met. So first of all, there's this woman. She Malgoratsa is her name. She is now a bit more talkative. She was very nervous of you before. She actually speaks a little bit of English. Then there was the boy, whose name is Marek, and then as well the other two. The third of four members of their group is, where's he gone? Here. Is that popped up? Griggles.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. He was the prisoner that they'd beaten up a bit and was in the building that I think Dro released. And then lastly, the other one is a guy called Jakob, who is a former Polish army soldier. He actually has some fairly raggedy clothes that show that the remains of bits of a Polish army uniform, but with mixed in with bits of civilian gear as well. Okay, and obviously no equipment whatsoever. So that's they had two further trucks that the rest they clearly panicked and ran. Now, in discussions between sessions, Carl was asking about whether there's any indication of what unit they came from. If anyone wants to investigate that, I believe that is a recon check, I think. Because I think the intelligence... Does anyone have the intelligence specialisation, the intelligence specialty?
No. I do not.
Jimmy does not.
No. Okay. So anyone wants to attempt a recon check just from looking at what there is on their uniforms are fairly on the men who are the men you've either killed or captured, and the uniforms you found in the various tents and so on. So some of that gear that you on that list I shared between sessions, that came from these tents. So the uniforms in there came from backpacks and bags and so on that were in there. It's spare clothing. So from looking all through that, if anyone wants to take a recon check, they can.
Yeah, I'll go for it.
Now, before you roll... Oh, so you have rolled.
Okay.
I already rolled, but that's
Yeah,
okay.
no,
I can
sorry.
re-roll.
Before you roll... No, because it's at a difficulty level. So
Yes.
it's a
you're
minus
right.
2 difficulty level. So
Okay.
please...
Can I make a suggestion, Andy?
Yeah.
Is it perhaps before we start into this sort of thing, we should perhaps have a bit of a time shift and have the rest of the unit join us so we're all together?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. I should have said that. I'm assuming now that you have all gathered around about this sort of area. Yep. So you've brought the other vehicles forward to this sort of area. There was some concern at the end of the last session about not hanging around here too long. So it's really a question of whether you want to take the time to gather up all this gear, or whether you want to, which will take a little bit of time, particularly...
We'll take a shift.
A shift is 4 to 6 hours, isn't it? No, it will take the remains of this shift.
It's shift to
Okay.
six. I did have a question though. Did anybody bother to come get me since I was out?
Yeah, they'll have come and got you. Yeah, they'll have come and got you. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Introduce myself to the two new guys.
well, no, but they are teammates.
We left you there. We forgot about you.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so they are another stragglers from 412 Cavalry. So you all actually know each other. Okay.
Yeah.
Just to remind you, though, obviously you as players are still getting to know each other.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
You've now got 4 vehicles plus the UAZ if you're taking that. So all of your 4 vehicles plus the UAZ if you want it, and all of your people on that roster, that character roster I shared last session, are there. And you've also got with you these 4 poles. Okay.
Okay.
So sorry, if you want to dice down by 2 levels. So
Yeah. So it would be.
I think it's going to be 2d8.
Yeah, 2d8. All right.
Yeah.
All right. I failed the recon check.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
fine.
So you can't figure out what unit they're from,
Makes sense.
but clearly they are not frontline Russian troops. From their armament,
Yeah.
they look like some fairly tough men. To be fair, the ones you've got, but they don't appear to be interested in to be trusted rather to have decent quality weapons. Okay.
Yep.
While they're doing that, I'm going to start loading up the kit we've found into the various vehicles. So you've found 2 trucks and a UAZ, is that right?
No,
Sorry?
the 2 trucks have gone.
Right,
The
okay.
rest, the bulk of the enemy unit, they frankly didn't realise they were attacked by 4 people. They
It was a trap. There were 4 of them.
yeah, there was such a heavy volume of fire, an accurate volume of fire. They just ran.
Which way did they go? The road to the right or to the left?
The road northwards up here. That eventually comes round to the position you guys were on. You were off the road. If you see on the map where I'm pinging on the map, you were off to the northwest of the map. So the presumption is that they went to the east. And actually, to be fair, I think I did say last time that Carson and Dro in particular saw the movement of vehicles along this road heading east.
Right.
So you're 99% certain they went eastwards.
I'm going to set up Overwatch on this hill right here where I can kind of see both roads.
Yep,
But
certainly.
I'll mainly focus to the east.
Yep, certainly. There's actually 2, if you want them. I mean, I don't think you do, but just so you're clear, there are 2 fighting positions. Actually, some dug fighting positions with some reasonably well concealed sandbags.
So that it's concealed from somebody seeing it. It's not obvious that they're sandbag positions.
It's there would be a some degree of concealment penalty for someone trying to spot someone in there. But to say,
No, I'm saying, can you tell they're sandbags from a distance, or are they concealed?
no, you can't tell the sandbags from a distance.
Okay, I'll then. Well, I still like this position better, but if fighting happens, I'll move to one of those.
Gotcha. Yep, certainly. Okay. So you're keeping watch there. Yep. Okay. The other bit of from the equipment list, and I'm just going to flip you back to the landing page because this is the best use of this map. You were about somewhere around about in it's this hex here, I think. And one of the items you found was a hand-drawn map. I mean, literally drawn on a piece of paper. And it seems to trace a route. So literally, we've gone, we've turned, headed east and gone along the road east for 2 kilometres type map. And it seems to trace back to somewhere down around here, which is a town called, where's it gone? It's in the Discord. It's called Coningspol, I think. Okay.
And my memory's faulty, but did I not read on the past episodes I watched that there was something about Krakow?
So the thing about Krakow is when, and all of you were there at the time, when you met that group of pro-NATO partisans this is in the write-up of the operation you were on and so on. So I hope you've read that, which is about here. You met some merchants from Krakow there. Okay, who you did a little bit of trading with, or a couple of you did a little bit of trading with. They and they extolled the virtues of Krakow. They basically have said that Krakow is a free city that's declared itself independent of, declared itself free of war, and that it is not siding with either side of the war. It is independent. It is neutral ground. Visitors are welcome, but the war is not. So you're welcome to go and visit, but do not bring the war with you. Exactly what that means, you don't really know more than that. Okay?
All right.
Yep, thank.
Okay. So are you spending some time gathering up the supplies for the remainder of the shift?
Yeah, if we can, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I suggest we get moving.
While that's going on, I do want to. Kowalski would like to talk to a couple of the civilians, particularly. I assume once they tell us their names, he'll want to talk to Gregor and Malgorzata. I don't know how to pronounce that name.
Malgorzata.
Yeah, Malgorzata. Okay, so yeah, Gregor and Malgorzata. He wants to ask, and I have family in Poland, and I asked him this in Polish. I have family in Poland. I was actually wondering if you knew anyone by the name, and I'm gonna go ahead and just pull up the handout for this. Do you know anyone from the families of either Piotr or Gregor Kowalski?
Instantly, from the way the dynamics reads of the pair of them, Malgorzata seems to be in charge, even though Poland at this stage is still quite a sexist society, and Gregor's definitely older as well. But Malgorzata seems to be definitely takes the lead, and she shakes her head, and says, "No, I don't. I don't know. I don't know of any one of those names. These are family of yours, are they, or something? Have you got Kowalski written on a name tag still?"
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So she's clocked that and says, "Are these family of yours then?"
Yeah, they're Piotr and Gregor are my great uncles, and I know that they were they were still here when my father and his when my father left.
Okay. I'm afraid no, I don't. Who are you? You seem to be American soldiers.
We are American soldiers, yes.
And are you the war is heading westwards, isn't it? Shouldn't you be going westwards to carry on fighting?
We have to find. Currently, we're looping around due to the state of the rivers. But we'll drop you off in a safe location first before we head anywhere that's going to have combat involved.
I imagine they can pretty much have a choice of that stuff that we've we've picked up.
Yeah. Well, I just out of character. I just don't want to give too much information as to where we're going or why we're going there.
I see that you have one very badly wounded man, and she points at Sunday in the back of one of the vehicles.
Sunday gurgles a little bit.
Yes.
For emphasis.
Yes. He doesn't look like he's going to last much longer. Are you trying to find a doctor for him?
Well, we have people with medical training in our convoy. If we could find a doctor, that would be ideal. But right now we need to focus. I need, as the commander of this detachment, need to focus on keeping the detachment moving so that we don't get picked up by the Reds.
So what direction are you going to go to start with?
What direction did we decide on going? I think we were going we were gonna like go east for a little bit and then loop back around towards the bridge to try and link up with Kuzminski's commandos.
Well, you're not sure what's happened to them because they definitely have been engaged. So just to remind you, so one of the things you've worked out. I'm sorry, I'm going to use this map again. Is that this? No,
Yeah, I've moved dust to it.
are you? No, I'm using the landing page map. Hang on a sec. This road here, do you see where I'm pinging?
Yep.
Is such a main supply route that for the Soviets. So there's lots of traffic on there, and the Polish partisan unit conducted a fairly large scale attack on vehicles along there, and then if you remember, you looped around this town here, and then had another engagement here before heading down to try and cross over the bridge here, and then running into the ambush that wiped out a lot of your units.
Yes.
So there's a lot of Soviet activity to the north of you, and you know that a lot of the bridges and fords to the west of you are occupied. You guys on this map are somewhere in this hex here.
Okay.
The according to the map you found of the enemy troops, they've come from somewhere down here. So I'm not sure where you want to try and head.
Well, with the new information that we've gathered, it might be better to continue heading east. What do you guys think?
Well, Corporal, what about heading south to this Krakow town and maybe get Sunday some medical treatment down there?
That would be a good idea, except that he just indicated that if we go straight south from where we are going to be probably running through a massive Soviet unit.
Well, we could skirt around southeast.
If you head towards Krakow,
I'm talking about just right now, initial direction. Like, yeah, I think we should head towards Krakow. You're right.
yeah, because from Krakow we can catch a road heading west, or try and find our way west from there. Maybe get some further information.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I just meant more like currently. Do we want to head east a little bit and then go down, or do we want to just go straight south and gun it?
Well, how about we go southeast and split these two towns south of us and go in between the two towns right in the middle?
Yeah,
that's like an idea.
That looks good to me.
Okay, so
right. So we're I'll just say we're headed southeast towards Krakow to find a doctor.
Right. So actually, sorry, no, I'm going to go to a different version of this map. I'm going to go to this one. So you've been very helpful in rescuing us, and she looks slightly dithering, like whether to say something or not. And she sort of looks at Gregor a sec, and he sort of nods. We come from the village we come from is a small community, and that's surviving quite well, and we're sort of vaguely east of here, but quite a distance. I'm not entirely sure how. Something like maybe 20, maybe a bit more kilometres. We have a doctor there, and there are some things that we found, we scavenged, that we're trying to take back to our village. So if you could give us the UAZ, because we've lost our vehicle, we would be very grateful. Or if you want to come with us, then we would make you very welcome, and maybe give you a place to rest for a few days as well.
Sounds tempting. What does the rest of the party think of this offer?
Yeah, if
I'll
you
relay
proceed-
the offer to them.
Well, if we go east, then we get ourselves a bit clear, hopefully, where the fighting is. We may then be able to skirt south to Krakow from there.
Yeah, and it might give us a chance to even get a little bit of resupply going too.
And if we can get someone to rest, then we can start trying to look at fixing some of these things that are getting damaged.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm fussing, but I'm aware of that.
yeah, might be a good idea. What does everyone else think?
Yeah, so we don't know exactly where this village is. So it's roughly.
She seems to be slightly apprehensive of saying exactly where at the moment.
Well, there's a doctor 20 kilometers away. That's a lot closer than Krakow. So they need a doctor now.
Yeah. Yeah, all right. Then we will head to their village together.
Okay, so
They can take the UAZ, I think.
Yeah. We'll also give them the UAZ for the trip.
So
We're also pretty close to the Minute Corporal. I'm not sure if you're aware or not, but I came from 3rd ACR right before this operation started. Their operational theater is right to the east of us. I don't know what their status is, but
well, we can try and raise people on comms as we're moving. Because we have our vehicle-mounted radars. Radars. We have we all have radar units, right? We can detect incoming air threats that probably won't.
Yeah, no, you've got particularly on the 2 Humvees, you've got sort of extended radio, transmitters that give your radios extra range. Okay, so I've just marked their village on the map. And I believe, I'm going to fail to say this, Grusian, something like that. It's down here, in case you're wondering on the map. I have moved you to the right map, haven't I? Yes.
Yes. I noticed that had appeared there.
Yep.
Okay.
I see what you're talking about, and I also don't know how to pronounce that, so...
Yeah. But...
Is it not on the translation or that guide?
No. It's not one on that list. But as the crow flies, it's 20 kilometres. But it's going to take a lot. Her distance estimation is not very accurate. She's further away than she realises.
This map looks like more than 20 kilometres.
Yeah, it's 20 kilometres as the crow flies, and it's going to be a hell of a drive. A lot longer drive than that. Okay. So it is now a lot has happened in a short time, because the initial battle at the Sudsinn Bridge was fairly early in the morning. So it's now about midday. Okay. And you've packed up everything into the vehicles. What do you want to do with the where's he gone? Jakob, the other prisoner. He's quite keen to come along with you if that, as long as you're happy for him to. But he's also asking if he can take a rifle and some ammunition and so on as well.
Well, he was a prisoner of the Russians, or he
Yes.
is one of the Russians?
He's a prisoner of the Russians. You also, actually, sorry, you just reminded me of something, Mike. You've still got 3 Soviet soldiers still alive. Because do you remember all 5
Yeah.
that you took out? All of them sustained critical wounds. 2 of them were of a wound type that will kill instantly, but the other 3 have all just got. I mean, they're all badly bleeding. Without medical attention, they will probably bleed to death. It's sort of severed hands and things like that. It was.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got 3 living prisoners, one of whom also appears to be I've forgotten the word for it, the Soviet equivalent of a sergeant. And he's the one who had that map on him as well. And Gregg, you were asking about that Makarov pistol. He's the one who had the Makarov pistol in his pocket and so on as well.
Okay.
I think we actually did. I know we temporarily. Well, to say temporarily, but I know we discussed this for a brief amount of time last session. I think we agreed that we'd give them like cursory medical attention and then leave them.
Okay.
But if anyone wants to correct me on that, because I'm just going by what I remembered of last week's discussion. I don't know if we came to a hard decision there.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that's basically what we're required to do. Give them basic medical care. We don't have advanced care. I mean, we have our own people to worry about. Or the prisoners, who else is there going to be anyone else to stay there? Or is everybody dispersing?
Everyone. So is everyone? Sorry, I missed what you
No, is
said.
everybody dispersing?
Everyone's
like
supposed
all the
yeah. So
people who we saved, I know we're moving out, but is anybody just going to stay there?
No,
or are they all
no,
go on their own way?
yeah. So I mean, you've stripped all useful military gear from them. I think you've left them currently with in their uniforms and their boots. 3 of them are bleeding quite. They've got. You've given them cursory medical attention, so essentially little more than stopping them bleeding out.
Right.
But they are clearly in a bad way. It's just occurred to me that there was something else that Cymbalski was talking about doing, and I just want to make a dice roll for him.
Because even if we're moving 20, 25 kilometers to this village, it's not going to be an easy road anyway. I mean, if they're critically wounded, they're going to bleed out or they're going to die by the time we make it there anyway. So I would say going with the young corporal, we've done everything we can. We feel morally okay with what we've done, and we leave them there, unless somebody else has something else to say.
Nothing to add.
Right.
All right, then I guess that's settled.
There's one last thing, just for
Yeah,
interest's sake. I'm just going to roll
yeah.
for Cymbalski. He's rolling. He's got not very much. So he's down by 1 dice. And that is nothing. That comes off.
And Annie, when you're done with that, I just got one question about our vehicle.
Yep, just bear with me a second. Where's that gone? And that was a failure. Right. Cymbalski basically says, I've tried talking to the corporal. He speaks Russian, but his Russian is heavily accented. It's not his native language. I don't know where these guys are from, but they're definitely not Russians. Okay. Sorry. Greg, what's your question?
Well, as far as when Mac and I and the other 2, we had our vehicle, we had some maintenance problems. I forget where we at on that. Did we
So
jerry rig
a patch was done by your driver,
Okay.
but it's a very much a temporary patch because he doesn't have. He's got some bits and pieces of tools, but he doesn't have the proper supplies. So it will need grow to.
In the journey, we've got to keep an eye on it.
Yeah. We need to base ourselves up somewhere because a couple of vehicles need attention, and we got several weapons that need some fixing as well. Given we just decided that spares are going to be hard to come by for our primary weapons, M16s and so on, I think we want to be maintaining things well.
Yeah.
I do think we want to grab some of the SKSs just in case it becomes a problem. We need a spare rifle.
Yeah.
Well, Cymbalski will grab them. Wants to grab everything for trade value. Anyway, I think Carl had said that previously.
Yeah. And I agree, because especially if we're heading towards Krakow, I mean, it's a free city, so presumably we can at least trade some of our stuff there for at least vehicle parts or maybe even fuel.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I'm going to keep an eye on the various things that you might describe as construction tools, Andy, and make sure they go into a common location, because I think a set of construction tools might come in handy at some point.
Mm-hmm. Certainly. Yep. Right. So. So you are currently here. Oh, wrong thing. Yep. I'm on the right level. Yes. No, I'm on the wrong level. You're currently here.
Okay.
Yep.
And you're heading to here. That's a fair. Do you want to start trying to drive cross country? Are you going to just follow roads? What do you wish to do?
I think we'll.
Do we sensibly have a map with this degree of fidelity on it with all these tracks and things marked?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
This map is supposed to be actually you're a recon unit, so you've got basically probably I would imagine 2 sets of these maps, one in each of the 2 Humvees.
Okay.
And you've got other maps for areas around it. They are as you're a recon unit, you are reasonably well supplied with gear like that.
We probably want to skirt around the town that's directed to our east then.
Yeah.
It's difficult. Do we have to go across roads through woods? That's not going to go well, is it?
Well, it'll cut into our fuel efficiency a little bit. I think we've got enough decent drivers on us, like in our party, that I think we can probably swing going cross country if we prefer to do that.
If we try and go south,
want to skirt around the towns and then stick to the roads outside of the towns.
if we go south from here, we can pick up a road that we can then use as south to circle east of. You have to excuse my pronunciation here. Kapazov.
You can ping this map. So
here. So if we could move south from we're about here. So if we move south and a bit east, we could aim to catch this road here. Then we could follow it around this way, and then follow these secondary roads and tracks across to this gap in the rivers here, and then down to this gap in the rivers here. Just a suggestion.
Yeah, I mean, looks good to me. And some main roads while still keeping us on roads.
Right. I'd say stay off the main roads, keep away from the main villages or cities to our south. And I think what we have to remember is, I mean, most of us probably know, I mean, most European forests, they're not like American forests where they actually have trails where you can drive a vehicle, because the forest meister is taking care of the forest. So we say cross country, it's not necessarily true cross country. So I'd say, but that route that was just pinged, I'd say that looks like a pretty good way.
I'm just a bit nervous about that first bit, but it's either that or go through, and again, product of application, was the town to our east. Sorry, I can't.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
For the bulk of this shift, that will be on technically open terrain. Okay.
Okay.
Now, this is the first time we're using the travel rules, so I'm just going to be a bit slow and just go through and make sure I'm getting it right. And if I'm getting something wrong, please let let me know, guys. Right, you're going cross country though, so
First bit, yeah.
your
That's a bit surprised me.
your travel speed will be well, the Chevy's limited to 4. The Dodge, the travel speed across country of 4. The Humvees are faster, but they'll obviously be going at the same pace. I just need to check a UAZ. I don't have the. I should done the UAZ up as a character. I will do that.
Do we have that, or do we give that to the civilians, or
Yeah, but
we track?
they're coming with you though, so in convoys.
UAZ is 10/6, so 6.
Okay, so actually, so that the two slow are the Chevy and the Dodge. Okay, so your speed is 4, so that's 4 hexes. Because you can zoom around this map, can't you? Because each hex is 10 kilometers. That's 40 kilometers you can go. My God, right?
Yeah, that's something that someone has outlined in a couple of people have outlined in the Free League forums, that you have to kind of like be careful about vehicle resources for with the travel rules as written, because you can literally drive almost all the way across Poland on a full tank of gas with pretty much every vehicle.
Okay.
And do it in like a couple shifts.
Right. Okay. So, can I have driving rolls from the drivers, please?
Right, so can we just clarify who is driving?
Right.
I'm in the M998, I think.
Are you now the driver of that?
With Carolyn. Or
Karen. Yeah, I think it's mostly. I think it's.
There's 2 of us plus a very badly wounded Sunday.
Yeah. Okay. So for that one, okay. So Carolyn Martinez makes a driving check for that. Oh, by the way, enough time has gone by. Your stress, Dro's stress will have gone down. Right, so driving there. Carolyn Martinez passes a driving check. Okay. Then the other Humvee is being driven by Valdez. He passes his driving check. Then the Dodge is being driven by Cymbalski, I believe. Yep, Cymbalski. He fails.
And driving the Chevy.
And sorry, say again?
No, I was saying Mickey should be driving the Chevy.
Yeah.
Does Cybulski wants to consider pushing that role?
Oh, that's a very good point. So now, I've got the push rules in this is he just re-rolls straight. There's no taking stress or anything like that, is there? It's
No, he'll take
problem if he rolls a 1.
Rolls a 1 on that subsequent roll, yes.
On the subsequent roll. Yeah, okay, so Cymbalski will push. So he's now passed. Good. Okay. And we just have Mickey. Okay. Now, Mickey is actually going to have to dice down because of the existing... I'm going to put a penalty, a modifier of -1 because of the damage to the engine. Sorry, yeah, the radiator. So it was the radiator.
Yeah,
right. A hole in it. So he's now rolling double C's. Okay, so what I'm going to, because of that, I'm going to say, so after about an hour and a half, 2 hours of driving, so you've got to, let's say, I think you've got your skirting to the north of this settlement here, so you're somewhere around about here. the Chevy suddenly overheats. Steam's going everywhere. The temporary fix he did has ruptured, and the engine's overheating. Steam's pouring out. Steam and boiling water is pouring out the radiator.
Okay.
And it comes to a very well. He stops it before it completely conks out.
And if I can ask, what's our order of march? Who's leading and who's trailing, and where's each vehicle in the order of march?
What do you guys want it to be? Tell me.
I would recommend a vehicle with a weapon in front, vehicle with a weapon in the back, and then whoever's in the middle. I would assume, since the Chevy pickup was already damaged, Mac and I would be in the center somewhere.
Yeah, the UAS would also be in the center, like either probably behind you guys. I'd say since we have to keep pace with the pickups anyway, and the M80 Dodge has a machine gun on it, I'd say the Dodge is probably point. And
we had a 50 mounted as well.
You've got a M240B.
Yeah, 40 Bravo, I think.
Okay, my bad. 60.
Yeah.
Sorry, and the Dodge has got an M60.
Yeah, and I'd say probably like right behind the Dodge would be the M1114.
Yep.
Armored Humvee, and then the 998 is probably tail end Charlie.
So 3 is the Chevy, 4 is the UAZ, and 5 is the M998.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Right. So so the Chevy in the middle clearly is having problems. Starts chucking out loads of steam from the radiator, and then pulls over. And Mickey is swearing loudly and punching the dashboard.
Better go and look at it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We'll signal column halt. And...
Yeah, I'll call whoever the lead vehicle is. Let them know we're having problems. Mickey gets out. He's checking it out. I'm going to pull near security around the vehicle. I forget who's with this, Mac? Mike? Is it Ray? Is Ray the other person with us?
Yeah, and Ray's manning the machine gun on the top.
Okay. Yeah, so Ray will stay on the machine gun. I'll jump out kind of a few meters away from the vehicle next to a tree, pull security while Mickey's looking at it.
And is Mac doing something similar as well?
Yeah, I'll find a good place for Overwatch.
Okay.
And I'll set up.
Okay, and then so you guys set up security, and the other vehicles also spill out and take up some security positions as well. Chris, you say Dro's got to go and look at the engine?
As soon as I realise there's a problem with one of the vehicles, is this the Dodge that has been with us?
No, it's the Chevy. It's the Chevy.
Yeah.
Okay, I've never looked at this thing before. I'll have a quick look at it. Yeah, I mean, it's not what I'm used to looking at. I'm used to looking at Bradley's. Okay, so take a look over it. Andy, is there anything I can do for it, or has it had it?
No, you can make a tech roll, I think is the...
It is, yeah. And I have no, I'm not great at tech. I have the mechanic specialty, so
modify your dice roll for that.
I'm done.
It's a fairly simple... it's not a complicated piece of damage, so there's no penalties to the roll.
That's a base success.
Okay, so it takes...
Oh, I did that wrong. It should have been a D12 and a D8, not a D10. Never mind.
Sorry, what did you...
Sorry. I gave myself the wrong dice, but I managed it, so unless you want me to re-roll it.
No, that's okay. Okay, you spend some time fixing the radiator. Now, you don't have anything like a welding torch and gear, so it is... ideally, this needs some welding. So,
Andy, is this actually... the vehicle is actually broken and I am fixing it?
part of the vehicle is broken, yes.
That means that, technically speaking, therefore, I need to use a vehicle spare.
Do you have any vehicle spares?
Because that's why you want to do maintenance before before they break down, rather than a spare. I believe we have like one in the whole place,
Okay.
the whole group.
So that is used up to keep this going. Okay.
Okay, where is it? I'll just
I think
confirm
it's
that.
on
But
your vehicle. I think it's on the M998's vehicle equipment. No. Yeah, vehicle spare parts. I'll remove it. It's on the inventory of the M998.
how many have we got?
One.
One. Great. We really do need to try and
Okay.
find some more.
So what you've done is replaced the damaged sections of the radiator. You've probably,
All right. If you remove that,
I have.
I can
Okay.
still see it on the list. Oh, there it goes. Right.
Okay. And that takes you a good hour and a half. And it's
Typically, it was a shift of work, tools, and of some sort, a tech roll, and a spare part.
right. So I'm going to say that's taking the rest of the shift. Okay.
Right. Okay. Unfortunately, I've only repaired it to having one reliability. Maybe I should have pushed that. Never mind. Okay. And I'll know for next time. I mean, it's only got one reliability, so try not to do that again.
What, on the whole vehicle?
Yeah, the vehicle's only got a one reliability now.
Okay.
Its reliability had functionally got down to 0, hadn't it?
I'm going to say yes, but that,
In that case,
I
with
may
only
have
one-
done that wrong when I've damaged the vehicle. To be fair, because it may have been so. Yeah, clearly it was much more severe damage to the radiator than was realised by Mickey.
Okay. My advice, my advice to the commander is that this vehicle is not really fit to continue with the journey. It will drive now, but if anything else happens to it and breaks, we're in trouble. I really need a shift to go over it properly.
Well, why don't we swap it out for that UAZ when we get to their town and let them have the truck, and we'll take the UAZ.
If it makes it, it should make it 20 kilometres, but I can't guarantee it.
It's now about 5 o'clock about 5 p.m. after you've finished that. Do you want to carry on? And you're, as I said, just to remind you, you're about here.
So we're about halfway.
About halfway. Do you want to camp here for the night? You've been on the go all day. Everyone has had the strain of a big major firefight, and then a few of you had a little skirmish as well. Do you want to rest up? Do you want to continue on? What do you want to do?
Well, I'll vote for. We'll camp out for the night. Simply because there's driving penalties to driving at night.
Yeah. In rules terms, if somebody manages to push a roll and don't do any more damage to this vehicle, then it's done. We haven't got anything that can fix it.
And we're in not a terrible position to make camp right now.
No, we're a bit of a safe distance from anything.
Okay,
Yeah.
so, right. This will now be the evening shift as such. Okay?
Okay.
So, what do people want to do in their evening shift?
What I want to do, and I go end up doing.
Well,
Andy, where exactly are we again?
say again?
Where exactly are we again?
About here? Maybe a little
Okay.
bit further back. Yep. What do you want to do? In a minute, I'm going to require everyone to, though there is stuff on vehicles to account for some of it, but we're going to need to knock off some food rations and some water rations. Bear in mind that the 4 poles you've picked up have nothing. So you're either leaving them to starve or you're feeding them. We'll come to that in a sec. Yeah. So the various actions the various tasks that you can do in a. This as such is downtime's the wrong word, but it's sort of we're going to account for a chunk of period of time over the shift. Yeah. Marching is not relevant. Driving is not relevant. You could gather wood or grain to produce alcohol fuel, so you can go and try and gather some
Biomass.
Keeping watch. Yep. Technically, only one character can perform this task, though actually, I think that's a little bit unrealistic with this size of group. I think there might be more than one person who will figure out how to do that. Scrounging, looking for useful scrap in the wastelands. Now, that would involve a recon roll to try and find some sort of building nearby to try and search and loot. Foraging for edible plants and herbs. Hunting. Fishing. There isn't. Fishing might be possible. We require a recon roll to do, and then it would require a recon roll to find somewhere to fish, and then depending on what you find, that may, if there's not large rivers around, then it might be penalties. Making camp is another one. Cooking food. Resting. Resting can be done in a moving vehicle as long as you're not driving too much. Or there's sleeping actually. You need to sleep one shift per day. So if anyone's going to keep guard during the night, then they should probably get some sleep. Or exploring somewhere if you want to go off and explore somewhere.
I don't have hunting specialty, but I'll go hunting since I'm good at sneaking around and shooting.
Okay.
I am going to do my job, which is to try and get this dodge so that it will run further. In rules terms, guys, just so that you're aware, if somebody does one more point of damage to that vehicle, it's done. So
you're going to do Dro is going to do maintenance. Mac is going to go hunting. What would Jimmy and Kowalski like to do?
I'm actually going to try and see if I can't raise anybody on the radio.
Okay. Yep.
So I'm thinking Jimmy's going to pull security because we're actually a very large element.
Yep.
I mean, and we're not. I'm assuming we're not parked in our logger area, our alpha. I mean, it's kind of a large area, so I will assist in securing the perimeter.
Okay. So there are. You've got 14 Americans plus Sunday, who is critically so 15 Americans. Sorry, I'm including Cymbalski in that actually. So it's you know what I mean. And then 4 Polish civilians as well. So there's 9. You've got 19 people here, including Sunday. Okay.
So essentially, we've basically got 2 days worth of food for everybody.
Yep. So,
well, have we all eaten yet today at all? I mean, how we try?
No. The way the game mechanics work is is I believe, and I'm please correct me if I'm wrong. You have to remove food at the end of the day.
Right.
Correct, or sometime throughout the day whenever you say that you're using them. Yeah.
Okay. Right. So. Okay. So, Chris, do you want to make me another mechanics tech roll with your mechanic specialization to fix up the Chevy further?
By the way, just for a note, I can't see a character sheet for the Chevy. I've only got a picture.
Do you not have access to this?
I only when I click on it, I only see a picture. I can't see the character sheet like I can for the other vehicles.
Okay. I think that is you actually just need to refresh your Roll20 window or 20 browser.
Okay, I'll do that after this. So, hey guys. Hold on, onto the right thing.
Now, Hasek, before you roll. Okay. Actually, no,
Oh
you
man, I got 3 successes.
You can have that. I was going to say. This is where people can assist, and someone can assist you. But
Well, I'll say if somebody else is good at tech, I suggest you take a look at the weapons that have become damaged. Otherwise, the same thing's going to happen to them if we're not careful.
right, so that adds 3 reliability points, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
So
That's a
the
successful spell of that's up to
Yeah.
reliability 4,
Yeah. Okay.
which is only 1 off the most it can be.
Yeah. Okay. We have just found how useful mechanics are. That really
Yeah,
is very useful. Right. Okay. Mike, hunting.
Yes, sir.
Right. Hunting.
So survival check. If I'm not
No,
mistaken.
it's actually right. Hasek. So, first roll. Right. I've read this, but I've never played it for something yet. So, right. First roll for survival,
Yeah,
modified by the terrain type. Now, where I've said you are at the present moment, it's sort of. Well, woods and open doesn't matter. It's both +1. So, what's your survival stat and skill?
My survival skill is D, and my intelligence is B.
So what you need to roll is a B and a C because the terrain is easy for hunting. So you're dicing up by 1 level. So roll me a B and a C then, please. Right.
You can push that. Just
Yeah, you can
remind
push
you.
I'll push.
Yep.
Take a point.
Sorry, shouldn't have said that.
We rescind it.
So now that's on.
Intelligence, so it's stress.
Okay, so you take a point of stress.
Already did it.
Sorry.
Already took it.
Good. Okay. Okay. So you spend the shift searching, but you don't find any trails. You do not find any trails of anything to actually hunt down and kill. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Right. That was rather unfortunate. Right. Keeping watch. Right. So I'm just rereading this keeping watch section. Okay. You don't. Nothing comes this way, so you don't actually need to make a recon roll. You keep watch, but you are undisturbed. You do not spot anything. Okay.
Some of the NPCs, could they be foraging since we have the 3 Polish that don't have any food? That way we're not digging into our supplies.
Yeah, I'm going to make some rolls for some other people in a second. I just wanted to do you guys first. In fact, actually,
Okay.
right. So, several. Put up the cap now. The important things are. Carson also goes hunting. So let's figure this out. So. He needs to make a survival check. He finds 2 trails.
Now we just need to hope that Carson's got the same marksmanship shooting animals that he does for shooting anti-tank guided missile positions with 50 cal.
I'm sure there's some crossover.
I'm sure there's a little bit at least.
Oh no, sorry, no, apologies. Only one character can roll for the hunting in the same hex during the same shift. Okay, right.
We could have assisted each other. Then,
Yeah,
right?
you could have. Yeah, you should. What I should have done is he should have given you, and he should have assisted you. So apologies for that. But
Well, we can say he was either foraging or fishing.
yeah,
Well, actually, I would have assisted him. He's higher skill than me because he's got a 12 and a 10. I had a 10 and a 8, so I should have been assisting him.
okay. Right now, what there was a discussion started about SOPs. When you guys go out hunting, are you expecting them to be shooting things? Because that's obviously making noise and possibly attracting people. Or are you expecting them to be just setting up snares and so on? Or
Like this, I'll be shooting. If we have a camp somewhere where we're going to hunker down, then we'll set snares and traps.
Yeah, I think if we're on the move like this, I think it's fine to,
okay,
you know,
We'll be doing single
shoot
shots.
the plot. Yeah.
We'll be
Okay.
doing single shots
Yeah,
when we hunt
right.
anyway.
Yeah.
okay. So between Carson and Mac, you find 2 trails. We then make. God, this is all right. Right. Mac, do you want to make a, just because you're the PC who's present, do you want to make a recon check, please, with a modifier of +1. Hang on a sec. Let me just check whether the terrain. The +1 for Carson.
Yep, that puts me at D12. So
Okay. Yep. So you make that.
and I suck.
Oh my
I'll
god!
push that. I'll push.
Can you? Can you?
No, he can't push
You
that
can't push
because
that.
you can't re-roll dice that you've rolled ones on, unfortunately. So
Okay.
Right. So one of the game trails is startled and the animal flees, but there's a second one. So roll again, please, for the second one. God Almighty!
you can push that one,
You can.
But
Yeah,
you
I'll
will
push
take a point of stress.
but you will take a
Sorry.
point of stress.
It's fine. We need some food, so
So now, when you re-roll,
yep.
do you only re-roll the non-1, or do you re-roll both?
No, you be rolling on 1.
Roll one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So. Right. So that is a fail. So the animal escapes before you get a chance to shoot it. So unfortunately, that's some of the most unlucky dice rolling I've seen in a long time for you, Mike. Unbelievable.
Killing me, especially when I got A and B for the skills
Yeah.
normally. So
There is there's a definite school of thought that Roll20 is a lot of people believe it's not a straight even distribution on dice rolls. In the Aliens game I was running on Monday, they were absolutely convinced that the dice were rigged against them by the computer.
we see that in our D&D games all the time.
I mean, I've done a lot of RPGs in Roll20, and it's come out pretty fair. I mean, I've had some bad run. I've had some really bad runs. I was running like 5. I was in like 5 games a week for a while back during the height of COVID, and I failed, I think, every single roll in all 5 of those campaigns for multiple weeks in a row. But other people were having, great successes in that time. So I think the dice actually do even out about the right odds. But it is a confirmation bias kind of thing.
It does. It always feels like it. Right. Okay. So. Before I go through what other people NPCs do, I just want to do Kowalski. You're listening on the radio. Can you
That is
please
correct.
can you make me a tech roll?
Absolutely.
And if you've got anything to do with radios, then please let me know.
I do not have anything to do with radios, but I do
Okay.
have D12 in both intelligence and tech, so I got 2 successes.
And the
That's good.
yeah, okay. So then roll. Okay, I'm gonna.
When I'm flipping through the radio channels, I'm just assuming it's like on on TV where you flip through and it's like, and on today's news channel, and then flips to another thing. Oh! And then flips to another thing where it's like rock or something, and then it flips
Well,
through.
it's interesting you say rock. Okay, you
Okay.
actually pick up 2 things because you've got 2 successes. So
Okay.
the first one is what appears to be a rock station, complete with a very cheesy DJ.
Wonderful.
It's in Polish, but playing mostly US and British and a bit of German, sort of 1980s. I don't know what you used to call it in the States, but in Britain we used to call it cock rock.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, sort of a lot of. I'm being unfair. I used to love it at the time. Iron Maiden and Saxon
Yep.
and
Yeah.
Scorpions and Metallica and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But with a very, very cheesy DJ. It's seems to be peppered with bits of what appears to be news. Yeah. But there seems to be the current weather, reports of military fighting from the comments far to the north. Yeah. And you can make me a recon check.
Okay. 2 successes.
Okay.
So now we know why Mac failed all those rolls. It's because
You've got them all.
I got all the good dice.
Right. The way they're talking, your best guess is that they are somewhere quite a distance to the south of you, and because they appear to be having some vague reports about. I don't have a large enough scale. Actually, let's go to this map. So on this map, you guys are somewhere sort of around here. Yeah. They've got they're reporting fighting. Sorry, I've got all the icons over here. Let me just move these out of the way. They appear to be talking about fighting over this sort of way area. Yep. But also fighting over this sort of. That you get some place names from over here as well. Okay. Yeah, that's the key bits from that. Then the other conversation, you have to grab Cymbalski because it's in Russian.
All right.
Okay, and it's two from listening to it, Cymbalski is convinced they're Russian officers. And what it appears to be is a senior Russian officer at some form of headquarters and a field commander. And they're basically having an argument across an unencrypted channel because the officer from the headquarters is trying to order the field commander to follow certain orders about regrouping his men and heading back further west. And the field commander is refusing and saying that his men have had enough and they are going to find somewhere find somewhere to rest up. Exactly where he's heading he doesn't say, but he's talking about resting up. It does sound and at one point the senior officer accuses the junior officer of deserting. Okay.
Okay. This is Radio Free Wasteland with 3 Dog.
Oh yeah.
Oh, what was that? Was that
Never.
What game's that?
Fallout 3.
Fallout 3. That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Oh,
is
yeah.
3 Dog. Ow!
Yes.
One of the best games ever.
Right. Okay.
Feed the Yao Guai. That is all.
Right. Now, for others, I'm going to say between the others, I'm going to have a load of foraging rolls. Foraging rolls. So make sure to call that even. Right.
Has anyone in the group got cook as a specialty?
No.
I'll take that as a resounding no. Okay.
No.
Just wondering. It's at this point it becomes relevant.
I've got a feeling one of the NPCs.
It means that effectively foraging effort gets an extra point of food.
Okay. Right. So between the NPCs, okay, so it's not necessarily found by the Poles, but enough wild food is found for 4 food units, which feeds the 4 Poles.
Okay.
The all water bottles can be refilled, so no water rations are required to be used. Okay.
Okay, that means 15 units have to come off the various. Is that right?
Yep. So let me just.
If you mark 1 off the Chevy, I'll mark 3 off the other 3 vehicles. Okay.
Okay.
I still can't access the Chevy's character sheet.
Yeah. So I've taken one off the Chevy. Okay.
One off the Chevy, so that leaves us with 14. I'll just split it between the others roughly evenly, okay?
Yeah, sure. Sure. Okay. And then some of the other NPCs are standing guard with Jimmy, and there's a few people getting some sleep, and so on.
Yeah, after the hunting, I'll go to sleep.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Guys, our food supplies are not going to last very long.
No, you. Right. The last thing we need to do is to remove fuel. So now,
Did we just do a hex of off-road, is that right?
yes. So a hex of off-road is just
Your consumption, doubled for off-road, and doubled because we're using alcohol fuel. Is that right?
yes, correct. So the UAZ. The UAZ would have used 8, so it's got the UAZ got 22 left. Okay, and then so the Chevy had 81. It's just used another 8, so it's on 73. Did you do the Dodge?
Not yet, no.
So the Dodge was on 79. That's now on 71.
The two Humvees use 12 each.
Yeah. So the M998 was on 83. That's now on 71. And the M114 was also on 83. That's now on 71. Okay. Just remember, you've got a bit of fuel at the moment, but you do actually have small stills on all of your vehicles.
Are they mounted on the vehicle, or are they dismounting before you can use them?
They can be used. They can't be used while the vehicle is moving, but they.
So, essentially, whenever we're stopped or sleeping, okay.
So what you might want to set up as one of your is standard procedure is to have several people forage for fuel in the evening shift, and then several people use the still during the nighttime shift. Yeah.
Yeah. Can produce 5 litres of alcohol per shift, but requires organic material.
Yeah. So it's not going to stock you up unless you just lay up for a while, but you can make little bits overnight. Okay?
Yeah, we do want to think about doing that in future. Okay.
Okay. Right. Then the next day. Right. Can I have, please, well, I say can I have driving roles, but I'm actually doing it because it's all NPCs driving. Right. So Martinez. She will push that. So she's okay. Then we've got Valdez. Sorry, I'm assuming you're driving first. Sorry, I've just jumped to this conclusion. I'm assuming you're driving the first shift in the morning. Sorry, I'm skipping over things. The nighttime passes uneventfully. I should have said that. That's quite a key thing to have said. So the nighttime passes uneventfully. The following morning, you then trying to drive the rest of the way to the village.
Oh, I think so.
Yep. Okay.
Is that the plan?
Yeah, I agree. First light, we set out again.
Okay.
Sounds good. I'm
Yep.
gonna sleep though while we're driving.
Yep, certainly.
To work your stress off from hunting.
Yeah,
Valdez is not going to push that because that's fine.
Uh, I got stressed out. That wild boar. I thought he was gonna eat me for lunch.
So yeah, your rest does it reduce all stress or just 1 point? I think it's all, isn't it? Zimbolski's fine on the driving, and then last one is Mickey. Right, so he's going to push that. So that is 1d10.
Hey, he got there.
Okay,
I was gonna say otherwise I was gonna fire him.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think if he failed that, we just ban him from driving ever again.
right. Okay, so
Mickey, go ride in the UAS and take your bad juju with you.
Right.
right.
One shift of stress per shift spent resting or sleeping.
So
Recovery.
So I'll get one.
yeah, you get one back. Right. Right. As you're heading along, you're. Am I right? You're going to try and skirt to the south of this village here.
I believe that was the plan. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
And right.
Oh, that's the point. We had a rest, Andy. That means I can spend experience, doesn't it? We can spend
Yes.
experience.
Yes, you can spend experience. Let's just pause and do that because people may want to do that. Do you know any experience they wish to spend?
Yes,
Yeah.
I do.
Time.
What do you wish to buy?
Stamina.
Okay.
All this lumping around with these parts has improved my stamina a bit.
Okay. Anyone else?
Nope.
No. Okay.
Yeah, I'm good for now.
Okay. Right. Um, as you're skirting to the south of this village here, you spot ahead on the road, and this will be. Is the vehicle order still the same? So the Dodge is in the lead.
I think that would be correct. Yeah.
Okay, so Cymbalski, the Dodge comes to halt, and Cymbalski comes to the radio. We can see a burnt out bus ahead of us on the road, partially blocking it. We can skirt round it, it is no problem. But do you want to take a look at it at all, or?
I vote for skirting around it.
Yeah, I think we skirt around. Unless anyone has any objections.
No objection. Just keeping a careful lookout.
Along the sides of the road, I want to kind of, and I guess I'll because I'm in the commander's position, so I'm not, up top, but I want to make a recon roll to kind of see if there's any planted explosives on the side of the road or anything like that.
That's, yeah, when I say I'm keeping a lookout, that's the sort of thing I'm looking out for.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Give me a recon roll from anyone who wishes to make a recon roll.
What are we rolling for? I must have missed that.
You're currently asleep.
Gotcha.
Go back to sleep.
I got 3 successes.
I got 2 successes.
Right. Okay. So you're absolutely convinced that there is nothing untoward. You spot no signs of any people, anything like explosives. If anything, that bus looks like there might be bits of salvage on it.
Well, Dro, since you're kind of our supply guy, do you think it's worth checking out?
Okay, I think scavenging a vehicle takes a whole shift. Is that right, Andy?
It does, yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, it might be worth doing? Do you want to stop here to do that?
No.
I think we want to push on. Our food isn't going to last that much longer, and we need to get to...
I'm really a couple of kilometers away from the village, so I'd say just keep pushing it.
Yeah.
Right.
Or several kilometers, not a couple.
Let's keep rolling, rolling, rolling. Keep them Humvees rolling.
Ooh, no, not what I want to do.
Something just happened.
I'm trying desperately to. I'm failing. Right. Okay. What I will do is I will mark it on the map for future reference if you want to go back there. That's what I was trying to do, but I'm failing on Roll20. So
I was going to say mark it on the map. That actually was something I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, so it is on the road there. Okay, I will sort that out next time. Right, okay. Right. And then about midday, midday you ish, you roll into the village, and as you approach the village, you're up into quite a hilly region, and you spot you're up to quite a hilly region here. Am I on the right level? Yes.
Can see that, yeah.
As you're on sort of end up on a winding road that the Malgazetta has directed you along, and you gradually work your way along this, and you spot at various points guards who are a couple of guards who are watching and trying to stay hidden, but are not particularly successful. And Malgazetta actually waves to you at one point, and Gregg, who's driving her vehicle, indicates sort of starts to pull up alongside and try and overtake, and he moves up to the front position, and then stops a little bit short of the village, and Malgazetta comes and gets out, and with the convoy stopped, comes back to Kowalski and says and explains, I will go and explain that you are friends arriving. Okay.
All right.
And she then hops back in the Humvee in the UAZ, and drives off into the village. And then a couple of minutes later, you see her walking back down the road, and then starts waving at you to approach. Are you all quite comfortable driving in? You spotted a couple of guards so far on the way in, armed with AKs, and looking at the village. It's got no walls or anything like that around it. It's but it does look a reasonable size. Must be 20, 30 buildings. It's a good size.
It looks like it's quite high up in some hills as well. Is it fairly well covered by terrain?
You're off the beaten track. You've got to know the area to come looking for it here. They haven't bothered with the wall, but then it's in a depression. It's got higher peaks around it, so it'd be very easy to shoot down into it. So the only function of a wall would be to keep people trying to get inside out, which is possibly worth doing. But it's
of dubious usefulness when it's surrounded by hills.
Yes. Are you comfortable driving in, guys, or are you?
I think we're fine driving in for now, at least.
Okay. You drive into the village. And here is a map of the village.
Oh.
Oh, very nice.
And you're directed to drive your vehicles up and then park them in this area here. Am I on the right level? Yes. Did you see that?
Yep, I saw it.
And this building here, actually, as you turn in, actually has a sign on it saying it's a hotel. And you see various
Welcome
people.
to Resort Poland.
Sorry?
Welcome to Resort Poland.
You know a little bit about public culture, and Cymbalski would definitely know this.
Yeah.
It's definitely. It might well. You joke about resort, but it does have that little bit of a. It looks very quaint, almost deliberately quaint.
Ah.
Yeah. Okay. Now,
we should probably get out.
second.
No, I said we should probably get out of here. I'm kidding. Something's gonna get us.
It's too quaint.
Yeah.
It's too
So-
quaint for comfort.
So it's Right. As you pull up and turn off your engines and stuff like that, and pull up in this sort of parking area here, you notice a couple of things. And you've noticed a few of them. First of all, these black lines crossing between buildings. Certainly, you've seen these on this road here. They are power cables running between buildings. There has been some sort of attempt to rig across power cables, and you can see a couple of lights in buildings and so on. Not actually turned on at the present moment, but they've definitely got electricity set up here. And when you're turning off engines, you can hear the hum of in a couple of places of generators. Okay.
Okay.
And it's midday. There's a few people around, mostly older women supervising young children, and a few guards, but not very many guards. This place looks like it could hold quite a lot of people, and it doesn't seem anything like as populated as it feels like it should be. Okay. You do spot on the way in, I mean, sort of this area and this area.
Didn't see that.
Sorry, didn't see that. Do you see that?
Yep.
And that. There you spot some mostly sheep, a few goats being tended by some herdsmen who look mostly to be teenage boys who, I mean, they're all carrying some form of long arm. Mostly things like old World War II era bolt action rifles or shotguns, but one has got an AK-47. You park up here, and
You just ping where they're inviting us to park.
here,
Right.
and you are told that this is Kasperek's hotel. Okay.
First thing is I want to collar Cymbalski and tell him to find the doctor for Sunday.
Okay. As you're all sort of getting out, someone comes over. Well, a couple of people come over to you. Exit. Well, what level am I on? Here. Exit this building and come over to speak with you. They are. Where are we? Where's she gone? Here. This lady who is introduced to you, she is. She describes herself as the leader. Yeah, doesn't appear to be any formal title, but she says that she comes over, and she serves as the leader of the village, and she's been told by Malgazetta about how you help them out. Then also with her is this man who appears to run the Kasperek, who seems to run the hotel. Did both those images pop up?
Yes, thanks.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
No problem.
And they quite interested in what you might have to trade and so on. But before any major discussions happen, Cymbalski, following Dro's suggestion, raised the subject of a doctor, and some sort of stretcher is improvised, and unless any of you particularly wants to go, I'll say Cymbalski with a couple of NPCs takes Sunday across to what's referred to as the medical centre, which is this building here. Oh, sorry.
It's probably going there with like Carolyn because she's the one who's been handling
Yeah.
his
This building
medical
here.
stuff.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, this building here. Okay. But now, one thing you notice as well is that the UAZ. Do you remember there were two trailers? Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
So one was sort of like a handcart pulled one. The other was an actual trailer attached to a vehicle.
Yep.
I don't think we ever actually determined what happened to the hand pulled one, but
I think he got left behind.
okay, but the vehicular one is attached to the back of the UAZ. Okay,
Yep.
and it appears that it might have originally been attached to the vehicle that Malgazetta and the people from this village were originally in, because they start unloading some of the salvage from within it, and which includes actually taking part of the base of it to pieces to produce some electronics components from some electrical circuit boards rather from some part of it as well. Sorry, some electronics components that were hidden in the base of it, and there appear to be there's a whole group of them. A couple more people appear, and they come from down over here, and they start going through this, and this appears to be some piece of important salvage that they've recovered, and clearly it becomes apparent that a group of people have been sent out to go and find something in particular, which you've managed to help them bring back.
Can I see what it is?
It's some circuit. There's some circuit boards in there. There's quite a few bits of electrical cabling. It's stuff to help with generators. What the circuit boards are for, you can't determine.
I'd ask why I don't speak the language.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's also quite a lot sort of things to do with electrical transmission and supply. Okay.
In terms of trade goods, guys, I'm just thinking. One thing is that UAZ. I don't know if we want to keep it. I mean, it's going to be a drain on our fuel supply if we do. We've got, as far as I know, 3 small stills, and that'll be another 30 vehicles to fill up. Don't know what you think, but I think perhaps that's something we can spare. Opinions?
I mean, yeah, like currently we have the vehicle carrying capacity we need to support our group without the
Yep.
UAZ, so we can certainly afford to let go of that.
Right.
Well,
I
the
agree.
UAZ is a better vehicle than the Chevrolet is.
Then do we maybe offer up the Chevy and keep the UAZ?
I don't know if this is a shift work or what, but I'm going to inspect the UAZ finally and figure out what
Right.
condition it's in.
Okay, that will be a shift of work to do that. Yeah.
Okay.
The Chevy, by the way, also has a still in it, so you could transfer the still across from the Chevy to the UAZ if you decided to keep that.
That would take up quite a lot of room in the UAZ. The UAZ's quite small. It hasn't got a flatbed, has it?
No, it doesn't. It would use up most of the cargo capacity there.
Here's a dumb question, actually. How big is a still? Yeah. Feel free to use a comparison about the size of a large, an air conditioning unit or something.
I think there in the rules there is a weight for it.
big part of it still is like a 50-gallon drum.
Yeah.
So
Well, a small
Okay, so
a small still has a weight of 20. Bear in mind that's not that's 20 encumbrance units. Yeah.
and it's going to have as you say, a drum to receive the fuel. It's going to basically take up the 2 back seats in the UAZ. I would have thought.
I thought, isn't there a cargo spot in the back of the UAZ?
Yeah. So the UAZ.
Yeah, not much. It says it can carry 150 units of cargo, but we know for the pickup, we've got the flatbed, the UAZ. I mean, you're carrying 4 people in a very small cargo compartment behind that back seat, but it says it can carry 150.
The one thing to bear in mind is the Chevy has got a pintle mount with an M6 with an M24B 240 on it, whereas the UAZ has no vehicle weapon.
As far as I'm concerned, that Chevy's a piece of junk, but I can probably keep it running. Probably.
Ooh.
Well, we can have you check out the UAZ and see if it's in
Yeah,
bad
see what sort of
condition.
condition it's.
Okay. Well. Okay. Carolina, who's the leader here, basically comes across and Kowalski's been pointed out to her as the commander, and she comes over and offers her hand in greeting and says, welcome to my village. Thank you for rescuing my friends and helping them get back here. You're welcome to stay. We can feed you for this evening as a thank you. But there are, I hope you understand, but there are a lot of you, so that would be the extent of our hospitality, I would say. But if you wish to stay longer than the night, then we can. You may have things that you could trade, and we would be interested in trading as well.
Thank you for your hospitality. And we don't plan on sticking around for too long. Probably not more than tonight. Although we can still do some.
From a practical point of view, I know that that he's left us now, but strictly speaking, I would not be happy to go without Sunday. Sunday recovering.
That's fair.
To say. So let's see how that pans out. We may have to. Though.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll need to see how well our wounded friend is doing. That'll determine a lot of our time of departure. However, we would be perfectly willing to trade in either case. And we've picked up some items that might be of use to you, but we'll determine that later, I think.
But we might want food if they've got food. Otherwise, we'll
work that out when we barter later. I think, because they're already offering to feed us 4 today.
Yeah,
so
true.
We'll worry about trading for more food when we get to that stage, I think.
Okay.
If that's okay.
Yeah, that's certainly right. So, you've got an afternoon, right? The afternoon shift. Do you wish to? Is there anything particular you wish to do during that? So, Dro's going to be expecting the UAZ.
What's that way?
Yeah.
I'm expecting a pay rise after all this,
And I'm going to say Mickey's actually helping you. I think Mickey's the person to help you.
Yeah, I think Mickey would help. Which weapon systems are down for maintenance?
If I remember rightly, Sunday's M16 is down for maintenance, and I think at least one other person managed to push and bust their weapon. I can't remember.
Yeah, so Cymbalski's.
It's just the personal weapons, not the crew serves.
I think it's just personal. I'm just
Okay.
double checking. Yeah, the 50 cal, that 50 cal's fine. That's fine.
I would hope the 50 cal's fine. We only fired it once.
I thought somebody was firing one of the mounted weapons
Yeah.
there.
So the
He might be-
M60, the M60,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
the M60 on the Dodge is down 1 reliability point.
Right, that's right.
That's not a massive situation, but we could stand to sort that out.
Oh yeah, and
Does
we've got
someone-
the time to.
Right. So does someone want to have a go at doing maintenance on that? It
I was gonna
requires.
talk to the.
Yeah,
Oh, go ahead.
as I say, I believe it's a tech roll.
Yeah, I should probably do it since I've got an A in tech and in intelligence.
Yeah, there you go. I don't. Jimmy does not have tech at all, so
Here's Mac.
Okay. Technically, you can have a roll without the skill, but yeah. So
I mean, yeah, I've got it.
Yeah.
I should probably do it. I have a D12 in both, so.
okay, yep. Right then. So besides that, so Cymbalski will. Right. So you're gonna actually Cymbalski is spending the entire time being with the doctor, actually looking after Sunday. I'm going to say that's what Cymbalski's doing. So Cymbalski's not taking time to look at his rifle, and no one's looking at Sunday's rifle at the present moment. So for the next shift, Kowalski's going to look at the M60. Dro's doing the.
Really, I'm just assessing the UAZ. I
Yeah.
don't know if that takes a whole shift.
I'm
And one trip,
I'm
one
not sure it
thing
takes
going to do.
not sure it takes a whole shift to do maintenance on a weapon as well. Let's just actually I think that's a very good point. Right, just you do those. Can you just give me Can you give me a tech roll each for those two tasks, please? And so Kowalski, right? So yes, you repair that one point of reliability on the M60. Right.
Excellent.
Don't know what just happened there.
Did you
Anyway,
increase that for your mechanic skill?
yes, that
And
is.
for,
I'm
for
gonna-
the guy who's assisting you.
No, I didn't.
So you should have got an extra dice for that. So just re-roll. So dice up by another dice as well.
I will push.
You okay? Get a push
there we go.
now.
Right, so that will still be that first dice should still be a. How do you push in this? Is there a way of pushing mechanically in this, or do you just ignore the?
I think
Because that
you've
first
got to
success.
ignore
Well, what you can
Yep.
do is you can go down to the bottom of the character sheet.
Yeah,
Instead.
you just put the dice at the bottom. Is the only option.
Ah, right, okay.
So
right.
that's one success, and because you succeeded, you don't take any stress.
Is that right? No, I think I still take the stress point. I'm looking at a Soviet-made vehicle here. Obviously, it's stressing me out. I think
Okay.
as a
We'll check on that, but take the stress point for the moment. Right. Okay. The UAZ is it's actually quite, to your professional eye, this looks like a vehicle that looks in really, really bad shape, but it isn't at all. It's
Okay.
been clearly the owners were, the engine's in very good shape. It's been regularly maintained by someone who knows what they're doing. There's bits of rust and stuff like that on the bodywork, but it's actually it's all in places that won't be a problem. It's it looks to you like the sort of trick someone does to stop more senior members of their unit or other units, allied units, requisitioning the vehicle away from them.
Okay. I'll pass that information on to the team then. Make a group decision, or
Okay.
who's in charge. You can make the decision as to which vehicle we trade away.
Well, we could always take the panel off the Chevy and put it on the UAZ, right?
Yeah, that's what. If we have the ability to, I was thinking the same thing. Mike, that sounds like a good idea.
I like that plan.
Right. Do you want to have, while you're debating what to do on that, do you want to do anything, any investigation of this? Well, sorry. What's his name? Stan Kasperitz, who's the guy who runs the hotel, invites you inside to come and have a drink. He says he has homebrewed beer and vodka, and he'll the first shot of vodka is on the house, but after that you'll need to trade something to get some drinks. But he's clearly trying to drum up some custom.
So, question.
Mhm.
So, are we? I mean, detained is not the right word, but are we kind of restricted to the hotel area?
They
If
have not said anything about that at all. At some point,
I
sorry, go on.
go around the town a little bit with someone, of course, not by myself. So either an NPC or maybe Mac, just to kind of spy the town out a little bit. I mean, we don't know these people. We don't know what's been going on around here. So I would at least like to walk the streets a little bit to kind of ascertain kind of what's going on around these parts.
Yep. Is
Or I can go in and just have a drink.
Yeah,
Everybody
no,
else.
absolutely fine. So is Matt going to go as well?
Yeah, I'll go with them.
Okay, right.
We'll have a drink first before we go. And I had a question. Were they said they'd feed us tonight. Are they putting us up as well, giving us room somewhere, or?
Stan seems to be happy for you to he will put you up as long as you're not bringing mud into his hotel. So you need to get cleaned up.
Let's give it a few months a new chandelier.
Yeah. And I've forgotten about that. And so you're welcome you're welcome to have a room in the hotel, and you can have that for free. As part of the sort of gratitude of the village, but you'll need to get cleaned up first, because
That's fine.
yeah. But that will and within the hotel there is a sort of bath suite as such, somewhere you can go and get washed up. So you'll be sort of padding around in your socks and stuff like that.
That's fine. I'll go with Jimmy to check out the town. I just wanted to ascertain what our situation was.
Okay, so wandering round, right, some things you noticed. I'm on the right level. There's a well here. This building here appears to be some kind of general store or trading post or something. Down here, there's actually a full-on blacksmith. I'm trying to remember your character's backgrounds, but this doesn't look like someone who set up a blacksmith shop in the last few years. This looks like something that's been a working blacksmiths for possibly generations. Okay.
I'm from the backwoods in the Appalachians.
So yeah,
Tennessee, Carolina border.
So a lot of horses. Is that a lot of horses type place?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. This here is St. Barbara's Church. A slightly curious name, but apparently there is a patron. The Poles have a patron saint who's called Barbara.
Is that Boom Boom Barbara? Patron saint of miners and artillerymen.
Actually, I thought it was barbed wire.
But you two also.
Hold on, there is a saint whose name begins with B. That's patron saint of artillerymen. I can't remember which it is now.
And
So I'm
you
going to
meet.
look that up.
It is Saint Barbara,
There you go.
actually patron saint of military engineers as well. So
That makes
Really?
sense.
Okay,
yeah.
that is entire coincidence. But you at the church you do a couple of American soldiers wandering around. You do meet Father Joseph, who's the village priest.
Unless he speaks English, I'm not communicating with him very well.
He does speak a little bit of English, yes. Then I'm just going to make some other labels visible. All right. I think that's all of them. Right. So
those two buildings against the cliff to the north of the map, are those? Is that a mine or?
right, let's come to this in a sec. Let me
Sorry.
go through
Okay.
this. Right. So over here are clearly some pens for livestock, and it seems like probably though the sheep are out grazing at the moment, they're not left out. Okay. That's the medical centre. To the north of the medical centre, there are several sheds that have been turned into sort of. It's more than a garage, and you're talking about moving a pintle mount between vehicles. That's got there's
we'll need
welding gear and everything there. So
we will
there's-
need welding gear. So yes,
Yeah.
that might be.
Okay. Then this central building here appears to be some sort of village hall, and it was probably it was originally probably a tourist centre, but it seems to become like a village hall, and there does appear to be a village militia, and at some point you spot that you are being kept an eye on by this guy, who appears has bits of military uniform, carrying an AK, and he's not at all aggressive, but he's got an AK slung over his shoulder, and he's just following you two around because you seem to be sort of doing a recce of the village, and he's following you around, keeping an eye on you, and so on. Then this here is a river or stream, but fairly fast-flowing stream, and there's actually a water mill here, and there appears to be some kind of it's not just for decoration. There seems to be some kind of working water mill, and there does appear to be it's a little bit early for the harvest, but they do appear to be grinding some kind of grain into flour or something. But possibly the most interesting thing is something that Chris has just mentioned. In this compound here, and it's so obvious they don't make any efforts to hide it, there are several piles of coal. Yeah. And you can see very clear dark trails of coal dust, which presumably walked in and out from these three entrances here. Okay, that going off into the cliffs. Okay. By the way, is everyone okay to carry on for the moment, or anyone going to need to stop at all soon? So I've just realised what the time is. We're sort of technically past our stop point, but I'm happy to carry on for a little while.
Having off a bit longer, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And then after, anything you want to do, you two, while you're wandering around the village?
No, I just wanted to just look around, see if I could. I don't know. I guess anything suspicious. Just kind of get a layout of the town to make sure, since we're here for I don't know over 24 hours, so we know kind of what's there.
Is there any kind of a guard post on the road coming in?
So this building here appears to have some to be some sort of. It's a house. It was a house. It's been turned into some sort of attempt at a fortified position, but you don't see any heavy weapons there at all. You spotted a couple of sentries on your way in. You spot the only guy you've seen wandering around seems to be some sort of militia commander, who is more just checking you two out. It seemed to be quite open and relaxed here. From the route that you took to get here, unless you're going on some fairly serious, not impossible hiking. I mean, if you live in if you've grown up in the Appalachians, so there's probably longer, tougher hikes in the Appalachians. We're not up into mountains here. We're only in hills. But if you're driving a vehicle up, there's basically one way in. Okay.
Gotcha. But they're not watching the one way in.
Well, there were a couple of sentries on the way in. Yeah.
Okay. Farther away from the village.
Further away from the village, and then there's at least one sentry in this building here.
Okay. But they are keeping an active watch.
Yeah, an active watch, but to your professional eye, not enough of one. Yeah. If you were to be attacking this place, you could be coming cross country and be in the village and causing problems before they were able to even react. Its defences are amateurish. Okay.
Good to know.
Yeah.
And after we walk around and head back to the hotel where everybody else is and clean up the best we can outside and then clean up on the inside.
Yeah. Yep.
If I got time, since we've been out and about for a long time, I might actually put on my spare uniform and clean up my battle stuff if there's an opportunity. Stuff I've been wearing. Probably
Okay.
pretty right by now.
Okay. So
do laundry.
it is a rock thing. They're in the bathhouse. What there is, if you want to use it, you have to take it in turns in the bath water, so it gets progressively dirtier. But you can take it in turns to use an old tub they've set up, and periodically between each person a new kettle of hot water is brought and topping it up, and any large lumps of mud are removed. So you can all get cleaned up to some degree if you wish. And then by the time all that's happened, it's not starting to get dark or anything, but clearly it's getting towards the end of a sort of normal work day. And then you spot large numbers of absolutely filthy people coming out of these three tunnel entrances, and they actually come to this building here, where there are actually some showers set up, and they're all covered in coal dust. Men, women, teenagers, and there must be 60 of them come out, and make their way to here, and then having cleaned themselves up, they then scatter around the village to various places. One of the things I should have said, you notice, rarely have you been to a village where every house looks to be in reasonably tended condition. There's normally something somewhere showing signs of damage from something from the war. There's a few bits and pieces of places that have had some damage here, but it's been repaired. Yeah, it's quite a different place to what you've experienced before. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm sorry. I wanted to ask. So, in the initial conversation with the village leader or with the bartender at the hotel as we're all drinking, I would have liked one of us to have asked, kind of going back a little bit, when was the last time that this village has seen any Soviets, marauders, any elements such as those? When was the last time that they were visited or bothered by those type of sorts? Has it been quite a while or never?
We've had end of the summer last year. We had a collection, taxation, from the Polish, the Polish, for want of a better phrase, the Polish communist government. So you can be having this conversation, by the way, with Carolina, the village leader. She speaks English.
Okay.
So nearly a year ago is the last time we had any form of taxation. We've been fairly successful in staying sort of out of the way and unmolested since then.
Sure.
Make me a what skill check is it? And I'm going to say it's you having this conversation because you asked the question.
Okay.
Give me a it would actually be a recon check, I think.
In an unmodified recon check?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That I'm rolling like Mac is.
Yes. It is definitely a game of dice rolling of extremes today. She seems.
Push it. I can't
com-
push it.
No, you can't push it.
Go.
She seems completely on the level, and that's what she says.
Okay.
So yeah, well, so I'll take the bartender up on his offer for free drinks. Stating that as my father once taught me, a man's two favorite flavors of beer should be free and cold in that order. And while he's having that drink, he's gonna ask the bartender if he knows anything about Pyotr Kowalski and Gregor Kowalski and their families respectively, if there's anyone in that area who...
Right, so that's not that right. Okay, roll me, please, on the dice roller.
Yep.
Roll me percentage dice.
All right.
And you want roll. You want low as possible.
All right. We're rolling a D100. Let's see what we get. 3. I'd say that's pretty dang low.
He looks at you and says, "Now, sorry, I need to find my notes a sec. Hang on a sec." Um, um, right. Kowalski is quite a common name, but before the war, I was working in the steel mills in Nowe Huta near Krakow, and I worked with a man called Pavel Kowalski, and his father was Gregor Kowalski. Now, I don't know if that could be the same Kowalski. I went to a we were good friends. I went for a meal at his house one time and met his father and so on.
Oh,
So
that might be who I'm looking for.
well, it was in Nowe Huta, and I hate to say Nowe Huta was bombed heavily. I mean, not with nuclear weapons, but was bombed heavily in the early stages of the war. It was a major production area, so manufacturing area. So yes, it may have. I cannot say more. I knew a man who his father matches that name. So
All right. Well, thank you for the information.
okay. Now. I'm just trying to think. I'm going to have to go in a few minutes, so I
Okay.
think it might be better to leave it there,
Yeah.
and we can work out between sessions what your. Because I'm assuming you're going to trade some stuff to try and get a bit more than one free shot of vodka each.
Probably. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
A couple
but I think let's have a little discussion about what's being traded and so on. Because if you're going to trade one of the vehicles, that's probably a good idea. If you want to trade the okay, I'll tell you one thing for free. They're definitely more interested in the Chevy than they are the UAZ, because the UAZ, the villagers who you've brought back can say that it's been taken very recently from a Soviet unit, so they're worried about it being discovered here.
Yeah, repercussions. Fair enough. As we're going to be driving around, so yeah, I think that's reasonable. We'll keep hold of that UAZ. I have a good feeling about it.
And that, I think that Jimmy's the one who's asked the question. So it is odd that, having said that they've not had anyone since the end of last summer, they then are worried about Soviet people finding them with a UAZ.
Not that odd. If they're going to use the vehicle, they're going to drive the vehicle all over the shop.
Mm. But
they're going to drive it on scavenging expeditions.
Okay.
Well,
right. Shall we leave it there then? Just a little bit of XP.
Andy, can I ask one more question?
Go on then. Sure.
As far as in character, Jimmy asked the bartender while the conversation of great uncles is going on, what do the townspeople do with the coal do they just burn it or do they trade it? And if they trade it, who do they trade it to? Because it's a big production of coal.
Well, it's nothing. I mean, he explains the Oh, it's actually sorry. It's the it'll actually be the it'll actually probably be Carolina, the village leader. We trade the coal.
Okay.
We trade it with merchants out of Krakow, predominantly.
Okay.
This village was the mining the coal around here is not very it is not very thick seams. It's 100 years ago, the coal's been worked by hand, and the village was economically well off because of the coal. And then as coal extraction became much more industrial, the village couldn't survive on that, so it became a village where we used to show people how we used to live and how coal. We used to take people on tours of the old coal mines and things like that. But then with the war coming, suddenly our coal is in great demand in Krakow, so it's worth it again to dig it.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah. So. Okay. Let's do a bit of XP, and then leave it there. But yeah. So their trade, and the way it was explained, there is not just occasional trading. There is regular trading with Krakow.
Sure.
And from what you saw, there's quite a. I mean, you're seeing when they come out at the end of the day, they're bringing out several cartloads of it. There's quite a period of supply of quite a few days worth of extraction gathered together. So clearly, there's not been a visit from merchants until recently.
Okay.
Okay.
I can only take off.
Let me just. Okay. Do you want me to do experience points quickly, or do you want me to do that?
Yeah, go for it.
I can't remember the bloody page number. I'm just struggling to find it.
Page 40.
40.
So I've got the PDF open in front of me all the time, so that's why I'm always so quick with the rules.
Good.
It's very well indexed, so I'm just very.
I have so many things on screen. I have to use the physical book.
Yeah.
Right. So everyone gets one XP for participating. Anything do anyone relevant to their moral code?
Nothing from my moral code, no.
Okay.
Technically, yes, but nothing really dramatic.
Okay.
Right.
Do you want to ask?
Mine's strong, protect the weak. So
Keep the gang together. So yeah, not really.
No. Okay. I don't think there's
There's no.
anything there unless someone wants to make a pitch for it. Did you risk or sacrifice something significant to realise your big dream? Don't think there's anything there.
I all I'd say is that I got to keep vehicles running, and part of my big dream is fixing up cars. So
I think I don't know. I think you that
okay, fine.
something special there maybe, but not routine.
Yeah, just because it's the first time that I did it. That's all. So.
Okay, it's the first time you've done it. I'll give you an XP because it's the first time you did it. That's fair enough.
Hey.
But I won't let you have it as a regular
a routine thing every time I keep a vehicle going or something. Yeah, understood.
I made some progress toward my big dream of finding my extended family.
I will give you an experience point for that. Definitely. Yes. Did you travel through at least one hex on the travel map that you had not visited before? Right.
Yes, we did.
I don't really know about the I'm not following the travel hexes, but yes, I'll give you experience points each for travel. Did you overcome one or more dangerous events using violent or non-violent means? Not in this session, no. Did you risk your life for the PC who's your buddy? No. So not a particularly XP heavy session, but okay. So I will add a couple of points here and there. Okay.
Yep.
Right. So with that, I'm going to just say goodbye to everyone and anyone who's watching, and stop the recording. So
I've been watching.
You've been watching. Okay. Okay. And there'll be another session in 2 weeks if anyone is watching this. Thanks very much.